Well, it's a Sunday afternoon in February. We had some freezing rain and a little bit of ice on everything this morning. And I lounged around till I couldn't stand it anymore and had to get out. So now it's Sunday afternoon and I'm going to go for a walk in the woods. This is on some state property that the state of Indiana owns for recreational purposes, and we're going to take advantage of it today. So come along with me. I was standing here and up from behind me came that raccoon. I don't know if you can see him running along up there. He got within about 15 feet of me. He was literally right there. Had no clue. He was so worried about getting some food and finding food, which this time of year is, of course, the absolute worst for him, that he was not paying much attention. That's really unusual. But hopefully he can find something to eat. Well, I haven't hiked back in this area for a couple of years. And I thought on a nasty day like today there wouldn't be a bunch of other people. This area is mostly used for off-road vehicles now. And the motorcycles, they just tear it all to hell. But there's a lot of wildlife. This is old coal mine property. And I guess it was purchased or donated or traded to the state about 8 or 9 years ago. It was shut down for a while, and then they opened it back up. And now, like most state facilities, there's a lot of rules and regulations. But that doesn't stop us from hiking. So the temperature's about, 29, 30 degrees. And let's enjoy the day. So we're going to shoot down that trail right there, which goes across some old fields. And there's another couple of lakes way back up in there that I'd like to check out. Old coal mine property. Was probably mined about 40 years ago. Let's see what we can find. Yep, that's poop. Coyote scat. Since I turned off on this trail, I've seen about, 3 or 4 piles of it. And I've only gone maybe a couple hundred yards. They're thick in this area. You can hear them every night just hooping and hollering and carrying on. But that's a good sign, I guess. A lot of wild animals out here. Man, that's a big coyote. Mercy. Probably the size of a German Shepherd. Yep, there's more. That one's got a lot of fur in it. A rabbit or a squirrel met its demise, or probably mice. Who knows? Coyote will eat anything. Peaceful out here though. So quiet. Yeah, went another 20 feet, another pile. Coyotes like to go in areas that are traveled a lot. It's kind of like marking their territory. That's why you tend to see it quite often. Alright. This is the second lake here. It's pretty small, relatively shallow. Caught a few fish out of it. Alright, that's the big lake that we were looking at a while ago. And you can see a small dam there. You've got this lake up here. What a nice place. Look at this. Wow. It is just so frustrating that they don't allow camping back here. Because a place like this, man, what a great place to sit up. And enjoy an evening. Alright, our next destination is down that way. On the other side of those trees, there's another lake. It's a little bit bigger than this. And I hope it's still in good shape because, man, is it loaded with some great fish. We've caught literally hundreds of 2 to 4 pound bass out of it. But it's hard to get to. I guess that's why the fishing's so good. Alright, here we go. Okay, here I am at the end of that second lake. And you can see the beavers are having to go further and further to find wood. Of course, they eat the bark. But they'll cut it down and pull it back out into the water. Take it underwater and statch it so that it's preserved. It's a pretty good sized beaver. Anyway, they take it out and sink it out in the water to preserve it. And then they can get to it even if there's ice on the water. I really don't see their lodge on this lake. So they may travel from the big lodge on the other lake to come to this lake to feed. But you can see where they've stripped that wood completely down, of eaten all the bark off of it. It's a good example right there. You can see the little gnaw marks from their teeth. Nature's pretty amazing that an animal as big as a beaver can survive off of bark. Now, here's something interesting. There's a beaver slide over here. Let's see if I can get to it. Alright. Let's see. See where they've pulled the mud up from the bottom? Like they were getting ready to start a dam right here. It could have been when the water was flowing pretty hard. There's some of their tracks. And one's been here fairly recent. See the cloudy water down there? And there. And here. And then you can see the slide, which then turns into a path. And this is going to go over to the other lake, I'll bet you. So we'll follow it and see. Get back with you in a minute. All right, there's the other lake in the distance. And now there's this one. It was a lot further than I thought it was. There's several trails here. This will be the south end of this lake. And I'm glad it still's got quite a bit of water in it. That means the muskrats haven't eaten that dam up. Great. Tell you what, I think I'm just going to, instead of bushwhacking through all the briars, I think I'm just going to follow this trail and go along the east side and work my way around the north side and back down the west side. See what we can find. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's some deer tracks. There's a couple of them, different sizes. There's two nice tracks. Just run down through here. It's used by a lot of different animals. Well, I don't know if you can really tell, but this is the levee or the dam on this side. And this is the area that I was worried about that the muskrats were going to get into. If you notice, the level of the water is probably a foot higher than the trail where I'm standing right now. And it could easily, all it would take is for a muskrat to waddle that out some and that lake would drop by several feet. So I'm glad to see they haven't. I was worried about that area right there. The other issue is if you get a tremendous amount of rain, it can wash it out as well. All it takes is a trickle to turn into a stream, and a stream into a gully, and a gully into just a huge water drain. Very nice. Let's make us a hot cup of coffee. This will be the first time that I've tried to cook anything on this stove, and this canister is just almost empty. So let's hope we got enough to hope we have enough to cook. Oh yeah. Got boiling water. Sweet. Okay, that's where we were, way down there on that end, which is the north end. That's where I was having a little break, having a cup of coffee. And I'm coming up the west side, and I'm following a game trail. You can just kind of barely see it there. So I'm going to have to do some bushwhacking to get back to that main trail. Hopefully it won't be a lot of briars. But, hey, who cares? Anyway, just a little update there. Temp's dropping. It's down in the 20s now. Seen lots of tracks, but other than Mr. Raccoon and a few birds, haven't seen any other animals. But we're not back yet. We had a lot of rain the past few days, and everything is like a bog. Just a big old marsh. And I gotta hand it to my Merrill Mohabs, the mother of all boots. They have not leaked any today. So that is a good thing. Because it would have made for a miserable day to have cold feet when it's in the 20s and 30s. Cold, wet feet. Alright. Alrighty, I guess that's a wrap for the day. We'll see you on the trail later.